Welcome. I have created this series on trying to get people who are interested in learning disruptive innovation, and they may be novices or they may be people with a little bit of experience of disruptive innovation. But if they want to try and move towards becoming an expert, then these free sessions may help them get there. So first of all, let's see why should someone learn DI. Now, there is a very simple, selfish reason, and that is that disruptive innovation helped me retire at 45 because with my role in disruptive innovation, I was able to make enough wealth for myself to become financially independent and do pretty much what I chose to do. So it's quite likely that people who do learn disruptive innovation and actually practice it and try, and they may fail initially, but if they try again, they're likely to be successful, whether they do it on their own, leading a company or being part of a company. They should be able to retire pretty early. The other is, which to me is very important, but it depends on the motivations for disruptive innovators, was that I helped change the world for the better, improve lives of companies or improve how efficient companies were. So for me, that was a great motivation, much more than just the financial motivation. And the last and probably the most important is that disruptive innovation using platforms is going to be the future in the next 2 decades. That is from 2020 to 2040. I think disruptive innovations and platforms will change a lot, much more than the internet changed the world from 2000 to 2020. Now, who should learn the disruptive innovation? And they obviously need to learn it from different perspectives. Some just need to get an appreciation of it, and while others may need to learn it in greater detail. So the first are what I call the bureaucrats, regulators, judiciary, and politicians. So for them, it is very important for them to learn about this because they can then see how, by creating an enabling ecosystem for disruptive innovation, they can change the people they serve, the country that they serve, without making huge amount of investments and in a very, very short time. Then CEOs of companies, it's very important for them to learn disruptive innovation, because if you look at just the number of companies, like say the top 20 companies, say from 1950, and then in 1970, 1990, and so on and so forth, say in USA, you will see that the companies have changed. And people who have used disruptive innovation have come out on top. So that story is going to continue. So if you are a CEO, then for you to understand disruptive innovation, and you need not be an expert yourself, but you must have people in your teams who are experts, and you must focus on disruptive innovation. You will see with the Citibank story how costly it has been for Citibank not to have focused on disruptive innovation and let a company like PayPal grow, which is now almost double the size by market cap of Citibank. Finally, of course, it is hugely important for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. Again, they could be experts in it, or they could have people who they hire who are experts. But whether you are an entrepreneur in a big company or you're an entrepreneur setting out on your own or being part of an entrepreneurial journey. Like I was never really an entrepreneur. I was always an entrepreneur and a part of PayPal in the senior management. So it's very important for all these people to learn disruptive innovation. Now, the way these sessions will teach disruptive innovation is through storytelling. This could be very interesting, and each person can pick up different things from the story. I have been very fortunate to have been part of three big disruptive innovations. Either I led them or I was part of them. And that was from 1985 to 1989 in Citibank in India in the cash management domain for corporates. From 1991 to 1994 in custodial services for big investors in Citibank in Thailand. And then from 1998 to 2001 in PayPal in USA. So 3 different countries, 3 different domains, 3 different time periods. And I think there will be interesting learnings from these stories for people to pick up. Now, there are a lot of resources which are available for disruptive innovation, and just the stories won't help you. You will have to, I think, go through some of these resources or find other resources. So the some that I found particularly useful are books by Clayton Christensen, who's also called the father of disruptive innovation. Unfortunately, he passed away early this year, but his books are classics and well worth reading. Then there's a book called A Passion for Excellence by Tom Peters, Good to Great by James Collins, and How to Start a Startup by Sam Altman, who runs Y Combinator, and these are 20 videos. So these are some of my favorite ones. I've just come across another one called How to Think Like a Rocket Scientist. So there will be many more, and you can look at these and use the sessions and stories that I give, and you should be well on your way to learning as much about disruptive innovation as you choose to. With that, I'll end the session and just saying that if you do need to send me feedback or contact me, here is my email. Thank you for listening to me.